If you want some tips on how to plan your destination wedding, stay tuned for the rest of this video.
Hi YouTube family, we are Matilda and Mike, and through this channel we want to help and encourage our audience to live a more balanced life that they love. Every Sunday and Thursday we talk about our passions. We talk about love, finance, and healthy living. And if you find our content helpful, then help us out by hitting that like button. Our channel gets more recognized that way. And if you're new here, please do subscribe, and for everyone else, welcome back.
For those of you who might not know, we were married in Orlando, Florida. And at the time we were living in Michigan, so we technically had a destination wedding. And in today's video, we wanted to share some tips and tricks with you guys on how to make your destination wedding planning successful and how to have the wedding of your dreams. Something to keep in mind when it comes to planning a destination wedding is location, location, location. You want a spot that is easy for people to get to, that's relatively hassle-free. You want somewhere close to the airport, and you also want somewhere that can double up as a vacation spot so that guests can enjoy their time outside of the wedding. So we chose to have our wedding in Orlando, Florida in January because in the month of January, that was one of the warmest places in the US at the time. Also picked it because of all the fun attractions and things to do in that area, and also the affordability of flights for guests coming from all over. So for our wedding, we had 90% of our guests actually came from out of town, whether in around the US or out of the country. They made the most of that Orlando trip. They did things outside of the wedding. You could add on to your wedding website all the fun things that guests can experience, whether it's restaurants to check out, things to do, all sorts of sightseeing and touristy things, as well as transportation. You know, how are they going to get to the airport, to the hotel, or to the location? How are they going to get around the city? Is it via train? Is it via bus? Or Uber? What's the best way for them to get around? The more information you give them, the better.
The next thing you're going to look for is a popular venue. This is so important. They take a lot of pressure off of you when you're planning because you really have to lean onto them to really be able to know the vendors in the area, because you're only going to get to see them once and for a short time, and during that short time they're putting on a show to try and sell themselves. But at the venue, if they put on weddings all the time, they're going to know which vendors they can count on and which ones they can rely on to get the job done. And they'll be able to kind of connect with your budget and to your desires to figure out which vendor is most appropriate and gonna help get you that wedding that you really want. Also, those wedding venues that are really popular and do a ton of weddings usually have like a package deal that already has everything laid out for you. They've got videos, they've got pictures, great ideas from, you know, that you can pull from other previous weddings and stuff that has been done there to kind of piece your perfect wedding together. And so that's also a huge advantage of going somewhere that does a lot of weddings.
Next is to tour the venue at least once. And when you tour the venue, it gives you a chance to really visualize what your wedding is gonna look like and where you want all the decor, where you want the tables, where you want the DJ booth, the cake stand, all that good stuff. And when you do tour the venue, be sure to take pictures and videos, and take videos of every angle so that you can really look back on that footage when you're back home and when you're thinking of different ideas. If they have an outdoor section, make sure you take pictures of that just in case you want to do a fire pit or you want to add some different elements into the wedding. And if you have pictures or a Pinterest board or a vision board, be sure to bring that with you on the day of the venue tour so that you can show the location your vision and what you would like to see done at your wedding, and make sure that they can accommodate it for you.
Yeah, definitely with the whole videoing and pictures from different angles and everything. Don't just go through like your little tour of walking around the venue, taking pictures and video. Kind of think about the way your guests are going to be flowing throughout the night. So are they going to walk in this way, that way, where are they going to be directed, and where their eyes and focus is going to be, and that'll kind of help you pick out your spots where you want something for decoration, or whether you just want it to go with the natural greenery and how pretty it is for, you know, the backdrop and whatnot. Also, when you go ahead and check it out, be sure to look at what could happen if it does rain, or if you have any kind of inclement weather. You know, what is plan B? And when they tell you what plan B is, it always sounds good, but just make sure that what they're saying matches up with what you're seeing on scene. And so that way, you know, if something should happen, you know that they're going to be able to take care of it, and that your guests will remain dry and safe.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it rained the morning of our wedding. It didn't rain. It rained a lot that morning, but it got better. However, we did have a live band and a live musician who was supposed to play the entrance song for our wedding, which they did. But instead of doing it, you know, next to the guests where everyone could see, they went under the tent and kind of like in a tucked out corner, which was okay because we still had the live music, but it was a little bit of a bummer because you couldn't see them. They were kind of tucked away, and you could only see the one musician that was
brave enough to step out to
standing.
But they still did a great job.
And you also want to ask about any customizations that they do have. If they customize things in any way, if they include things in any way, you want to make sure you ask about that. And also, when you go and see the venue, also look at different hotels. Tour the hotels. Look for hotels that are affordable and hotels that have a great deal, and hotels that are also close to the venue, because that's going to be the most convenient thing for your guests. So you want to keep your guests in mind: cost, location, and any amenities like breakfast or fitness center or anything that your guests might really enjoy. You want to keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. All right, the next thing you want to look for is a good wedding coordinator. We were very fortunate. Our coordinator was amazing. She came with the venue. So one, we knew she had experience. Two, the beautiful thing with coordinators is they are familiar and have good relationships with the different vendors in the area. So they know who they really need to watch and keep an eye on, who they can rely on to be there on time, or they need a little buffer, and they know who to call if something isn't right. So they can react quickly to whatever pops up in the night. So the wedding coordinator we had, she actually had like a personal assistant kind of thing, which I think was just like a wedding coordinator in training, which was amazing because it allowed her to stay free for anything that popped up. She could react and, you know, handle it right away, and didn't have to be distracted with, oh, this needs to be refilled over here, or a little thing over there, and all that stuff. So the more questions that they can, you know, answer and help out with coordinating everything and being the liaison between all the vendors and all the staff on scene that day, it takes a lot of stress off of, you know, the groom and bride, and allows you to really just enjoy it. I think we had like one question that we got asked, and we had already discussed it before even the wedding day, and that was, do you want like heat lamps? And if you want them, how many and where do you want them? So yeah, and during our wedding, I think that's the only time they really kind of interrupted us and was like, hey, it might be about that time. You know, this is where we recommend you put them. As long as you're okay with it, we'll go ahead and bring it out. And like, that was it. They came with a question. They had different options and answers and solutions, and it was boom, boom, boom. Keep on enjoying the night. And your crowd and your crowd. All the people in the wedding are really going to be, you know, feeding off of you and how you're doing throughout the night. So if you're all stressed out about this going wrong and that over there and that needs to be done, they're going to feel not as, you know, uncomfortable and enjoy the evening quite as much as if you're sitting back enjoying it and having fun with them. It's going to make a huge difference, and I know that was a huge part of why we enjoyed our wedding so much, and it turned out so well.
Next is transportation. When you have your wedding, you want to make sure you book reliable transportation, especially the flight. Don't skimp on this one. You don't want to have to worry about delayed flights, canceled flights, or not being able to take luggage onto the flight. If you need to splurge on a good airline, good flight, it is well worth it. So be sure to do that. For our flight, I was actually able to have my dress in the coat closet that they have. I guess they call it like the pilot's closet, which is pretty much like a where you can hang your suits or you can hang things like that at the front of the plane. Another option that I know people do is they can actually purchase a separate ticket for their outfits. People do that, and depending on what airline you're flying, that could be an option for you as well. But be sure to ask if you can put your dress somewhere, if you don't want to fold it and put it on top of the plane, or if you don't want to fold it and put it in a suitcase and check it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, don't wait until the last minute to pick up your dress or your tux if, you know, you're the groom. Be sure to get that done early ahead of time. Don't wait till you get to that location to, you know, try on your dress or to pick up your apparel, because if it's not ready, then you're scrambling last minute. So make sure you have it all ready, tailored, customized, and with you when you go to that destination.
Yep. Yeah, make sure you make a checklist for that for sure.
It gives you peace of mind.
Yeah. And so the next thing is going to be budgeting. So budgeting time and money. So if we'll start with the money portion. You want to make sure, because it is a destination wedding, you're going to have to pay for extra flights, right? So we had to fly from Michigan all the way to Florida. Again, Orlando's nice because it's subsidized, airfare because of the theme parks in the area. So ticket prices weren't too bad for flights, but still, it's an extra expense you have to consider. Also, staying in hotels. Obviously, if you're going somewhere completely remote from where you are, you're gonna have to stay in a hotel. So whether it's 1 or 2 rooms, especially for the wedding night, we did 2 rooms because we didn't want to see each other for the first day or the wedding day until the first look or whatever. So that's also something to keep in mind. Also, entertainment. So you want to make sure you have some extra cash ready for, with Orlando, we went down to downtown Disney, I think it was, and we spent the time down there and went to like a theme park as well. And then the last thing that you're going to want to budget is your time. So everyone is going to want a piece of your time. They're going to spend time with you, especially if it's a destination wedding and everyone's coming in from, possibly out of country or at least out of state, and they haven't seen you in a while. Everybody wants to see you and spend time with you and catch up and all of that. But you have to remember, it is your celebration, your big day. Make sure you schedule and prioritize time for yourself, and then also time with your close family. All right, so those who mean the most to you, and everyone else, they'll understand. But again, you don't want to come in with completely open schedule, and then whoever asks the question first, they get the first time slot. You want to make sure you prioritize that and spend time with the ones that mean the most.
Last but not least is to arrive early. If you are having a destination wedding, you want to make sure you arrive before your guests. So maybe 4 days early if it's somewhere domestic, or maybe even a week early if it's somewhere international. You want to have enough time to set up, to get everything that you need, to get acquainted with the neighborhood and the area. And also another tip is, if you are bringing props or bringing items to the wedding, you can mail them over to the venue. Just ask for their permission and they can hold it for you till you get there. Just be sure to get everything done on time and a little bit early. For example, you might want to get something from Walmart, and then when you do get to the location, all the Walmarts have sold out of that one item. So the earlier you can purchase that and send it over, or just ship it over to the destination, the better. That way you don't have to think about it the week or the few days before the wedding.
Yeah, we actually had family in the area, so we were able to ship stuff to our family, and then they just brought it up when they went up to the venue. So that worked out pretty nicely. So yeah, definitely plan ahead, get all that stuff ready, especially the essentials that you really can't get anywhere else. Make sure that you've got all that stuff figured out and ready to go. Yeah,
and ask for early check-in for your hotel guests as well. Ask the hotel if they have any deals, if a few of your guests want to check in a little bit earlier than the timeline, if that could be possible, and if they could still get that same rate. Because a lot of hotels will make accommodations for you, especially if you're bringing a large party in and giving them business.
Yeah, that was actually a really good point. I remember for the guys, the groomsmen, we ended up doing our little gathering before the wedding in the hotel room, but it was the extra hotel room, and I had to check out before it was time for us to go to the venue, so we had to kind of kill some time there. So if you're able to extend that checkout portion, if you're doing something similar like that, then that is a great key to remember to do. I didn't even think about that and kind of ran into a bit of a problem there, but we made it work and we had some fun, and yeah, It went all right. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. We hope you found some value and enjoyed the video. It was fun thinking back and reminiscing on the wedding destination that we had and how much fun it was. Hopefully you got some good tips out of it, and hopefully you can apply some of them to your upcoming wedding if you are having a destination wedding, or even if you're not. There's some good tips in there for you to use as you see fit. So until next time, and we'll see you then.
Bye.